Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Let's Get Ready Network. I'm Adelia. That's my buddy Snark. This is Starting 11, our Premier League recap show. And Snark, the season's almost over.
The season is almost over for you guys. I guess for you guys, it's not officially over yet. It could be worse. It could be worse. It's going to have to take some miraculous goal scoring, but you guys aren't safe yet. As of yet, Chelsea have put themselves in a bit of a pickle. But again, it could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
Way worse. You want to start with the worst, though?
Let's start with the worst.
The worst is still going to be Derby County, because how about this for a result at St. Mary's Stadium? A pretty famous result for a relegated side.
It's got to be up there as one of the biggest.
And we don't talk about scoreless draws.
No.
But when you're, maybe the second worst ever side the Premier League has ever seen, they're only officially now the second worst because they got that single point out of this match. Derby County, your reign at the bottom continues on.
I'm sure they're thrilled.
Yeah, they're pretty happy, but at least they got there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least they can say they were the worst team the Premier League ever had as they continue to plummet. They haven't done well. But the Saints had, 26 shots put at them, I think, in this one.
Yeah.
Aaron Ramsey only had to make 5 saves. Again, City had the problem with not figuring out where the net was at St. Mary's Stadium, but say congratulations to them. And what a poor performance by City at a time where it really needed it and stuff like that too. They're not guaranteed a spot in the Champions League yet.
No, they are not.
The last 2 weeks as well. Their win streak is now going to stop at 4. And they have, though, the teams, the circling the spots. They have not a great matchup. They're playing Bournemouth and Fulham. Unfortunately for them, I guess, or fortunately, I should say, neither team seem to be in form at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second. But congratulations to Southampton. You did it.
Yep.
You got 12 whole points out of a possible 120.
Ryan chiming in the chat saying if English football had a draft, it would probably be rigged like the NBA, not like the NHL. LOL.
Yeah, I had a couple of good laughs about that NBA draft. And one of the guys that worked for me is a huge Mavericks fan, and even he was shaking his head about it. Impossible.
Draft lottery. For those who are watching who maybe don't follow the NBA, the draft lottery happened last night, and they had a 1.8% chance of getting the top pick, and they got
1.8 or 1.9, less than 2.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
After trading, their franchise player.
Yeah.
In his prime, they get this. Ridiculous.
Yeah. It
stinks of the Knicks in the 80s getting Patrick Ewing. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
A little iffy.
San
Antonio getting second too.
Yeah, I totally understand the conspiracy theories on this one.
It's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
But Ryan, of course, saying not like the NHL because his Isles got that pick.
He's a little more on the up and up when it comes to
little happier about that one. Yeah.
Again, what was their chances in the 7s or 8s or something like that too?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Ridiculous. The lottery should be that easy for all of us.
Ryan now saying LeBron in the 90s, maybe.
Ooh,
Cleveland getting LeBron.
Was that the 90s?
The Ohio kid. I believe it was the 90s. Yes.
Jesus Christ. All right. He's doing fine then.
Why
retire when they keep wanting to throw millions and millions of dollars at you? I'd never do it. I'd try and do it till I was 70. You know what I mean?
Ridiculous. Yeah. LeBron was in the 2003 NBA draft.
Yeah.
So it was close enough to the 90s.
Close enough. Yeah. Goes to Cleveland, leaves Cleveland, comes back. Wins a championship everywhere he goes. What a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's the Jets. But we're not talking that. We're talking about the English Premier League, guys.
We are. I think that we know the teams that are going to make Europe now.
Yay,
but just not,
no.
but just not, but just not the European competition they're going to, because Forest is 7 points ahead of Brentford, and there's
Yes.
2 games left.
But can't well but with Chelsea, if they win the Conference League, I think they get Europa. Either one. Well, talk about the two teams that could end up getting the Champions League, and they're bottom of the barrel, and it's bananas. All this stuff is bananas. But
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've got the bullshit Europa
yeah,
League final to
yeah,
deal with too.
we'll talk about that at the end. I put myself in a bad spot. Good spot. I have to, of course, go to a bad spot as soon as I talk about the good spot. So that's what happened in week 36 in the Premier League. And
It was a lot, yeah.
nothing terrific.
I
Now,
think Crystal Palace could still make Europe too, now that I'm thinking about it, if they win the FA Cup.
yeah, this is bananas.
This
It
is
doesn't. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah,
yeah.
this is crazy. At least there's something interesting to talk about at this stage of the season, because everything else has been settled,
Yeah.
basically.
And then we got the Club World Cup this summer. We got
Yeah.
too
Yeah.
much going on. Okay,
Hey, Brennan's in the chat. Shout out to you, Brennan.
Mr. Marr, how are you, sir? Okay, moving on. Let's go down to Portman Road. You're only going to get the one goal. This one too is from Kevin Charlotte, scoring in the 18th minute. Nice Brian Mbumo corner to get them ahead. They still have an outside chance at Europa League in the mix.
How?
They're only 6 points back, and I think
They're
if it's
7 points behind Forest. There's 2
well,
games left.
I thought they were still in the mix for this thing.
No,
For the
because
Conference
Bournemouth
League?
Forest is on 62 points.
Right,
Brentford's on 55.
right. And isn't there 8 spots or whatever to get?
I don't think there's 8. Is
I
there?
thought there was 8. I thought there was 8. 5 in the 5 in the
I'm
Champions
gonna
League.
look it up.
5 in the Champions League, 2 in the Europa League, and then 1 in the Conference League. But I guess there's one that's going to be one less because I keep forgetting City and Spurs. There should be one more.
United and Spurs will have one.
United, I should say. The other Manchester.
City will probably, if they don't qualify for the Champions League, take up a spot with.
I wonder if they decline the Europa League spot.
Decline the Europa League spot. That would be funny.
That would be funny.
I really, like, for my own personal happiness for the end of this season, want City to qualify for the Europa League or the Conference League, but I don't think they can fall that far.
They won't fall that far. I think what are they at now? They can still fall out, but I don't think they can fall past Europa League spot. If my memory serves, if Chelsea wins both their games, Forest can't win both their games, so one of those two have to lose, or at least drop points. One of the two is drop points, or maybe both. So Villa could still move up, but it's a whole work going on here in the last 2 weeks. Brighton gets a win at the Molineux here. Danny Welbeck scoring from the spot 6 minutes after somehow he had a goal called back offside. What? Everybody seemed
the phantom offside.
They're talking about the one guy off to the side, maybe getting Jose Sal's eye when he's off to the side. Doesn't make any sense. It made zero sense, but they make up for it because I don't think it was a very good call for the penalty either. With Cunha makes a little bit of contact, but that flop was impressed by Matt Weaver. Anyways, you get 10 goals now, I believe, for Danny Welbeck. So good on him. He's like we were saying, people playing into their 70s. He might do it. Now, the one other goal scored was by Brajan Gruda. It's his first Premier League goal. The moment really does get to the guy. So, good on him. There you go. Seagulls, they're keeping pace with Brentford, but it's basically for a top 10 spot. There you are. Considering how poor this year, top 10 spot for Brighton is not bad. But again, another team with a good system. Moving on.
Okay.
Because they're not gonna matter. Here we go. Oh, she's got how the
I've got how the placings work. Usually the Champions League 1 through 4, Europa League 5, and the FA Cup winners and the Carabao Cup winners go to the Conference League. But since there's an extra place in the Champions League now, The Champions League is 1 through 5. Europa League is 6 and the FA Cup winners, and the Conference League is the Carabao Cup winners, which is Newcastle.
Okay. So, but Newcastle has a Premier League or Champions League spot.
Yeah. So, it could be we have 9 teams from the Premier League in Europe next year because of Man United and Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And since neither of them are in a domestic position, whoever lifts the trophy will play in the Champions League as the Europa League holders.
Yep.
So this guarantees there will be 9 teams in Europe, 6 in the Champions League, so 1 through 5, and either Man United or Tottenham, which is just disgusting.
Yeah.
Europa League will
An
be
embarrassment to
position.
the Champions League.
Yeah, Europa League will be position 6 and the FA Cup winners, and the Conference League will be Newcastle unless they finish in one of the other spots.
Right. So, does that mean Brentford and Brighton still have a chance at the Europa or at the Conference League?
I don't think so, because I don't think anybody but Newcastle can qualify for the Conference League.
So they just drop that spot out then, that 9th spot, because of Newcastle winning it, or it doesn't go to the runner up.
I don't know.
Yeah, strange.
I'm reading this on the ESPN website. So Newcastle winning the Carabao Cup means that they're guaranteed a place in the Conference League. But if they qualify for the Champions League or the Europa League, it transfers to the Premier League. So if Newcastle finish in the top 6 as it stands, the Conference League place will be 7th, which right now is Forest. But then there's influence from the FA Cup too. So if Palace wins the FA Cup,
yeah,
Palace qualifies for the Europa League. It's crazy.
Yeah. Bananas. Guys, tune in 2 weeks.
Since Newcastle can finish no lower than 7th, City winning would guarantee at least Europa League football for Newcastle and put the 8th place team in the Conference League. There we go.
And if Chelsea wins the Conference League, are they guaranteed Europa League?
Okay, if Chelsea wins the Conference League, they get a place in the Europa League.
Yeah.
By rights. But if you finish the trophy, if you lift the trophy and finish inside the top 5, there will be no change to the allocation. Okay. So the top 5 would still be Champions League, 6 in the FA Cup winners to the Europa League, and then whatever with the Conference League. If Chelsea wins the Conference League and finishes 6th, the Premier League gets an extra team in the Europa League.
Okay. And then
Ryan saying Crystal Palace sounds like a nice place to live. I might have to cheer for them.
Oh, it's great. When did that get torn down?
A long time ago.
1890?
A long time ago.
I'm sure you'll love it there. It's going to be great.
Okay. Ryan also asking if he finds Waldo, does he win?
I think that's part of the challenge to get into the Conference League. So, yeah, if Chelsea wins the Conference League, and if they finish in the top 5, then if you find Waldo, you're guaranteed a Conference League spot. That's how we got in last year, if I remember right.
Okay. Also, this article says that if you win the Conference League and qualify for the Champions League, you can actually choose if you want to be in the Europa League or the Champions League next year.
I did read that. I said, yes, everybody would choose for the Europa League. Look at all the money. Oh, whatever.
Okay. There is a scenario where 10 would qualify for Europe.
Only half
the league. Yeah, it would require Chelsea to win the Conference League and finish outside the European places, which I don't think is happening, plus Palace to win the FA Cup. So that in that case, it would be the top 6, Chelsea in 7th as Conference League winners, the 8th place team, Crystal Palace as the FA Cup winners, and then Man United or Tottenham as the Europa League winners. This is too complicated.
There's a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces in England right now. Yeah, and that's if Chelsea wins the Conference League, because who knows what these guys. Real Betis is up. But they're like top guys. Anthony, you know what I mean? He's on loan from United. He was garbage there, but supposedly good over at Betis.
Yeah.
But whatever. We'll see what happens in that one. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, I woke up, one morning just dreaming of the day that Chelsea could lift that vaunted and hallowed Conference League trophy.
So this also continues. Oh. Where there's hypotheticals on how there could, not this year because there's no Premier League team in the Champions League final, but next year be 7 teams in the Champions League that qualify for the Champions League, and then 11 teams could qualify for Europe. This is too much.
It's a lot. This is a lot. It'll all get cleared up soon enough.
Thank God
Uh,
there's only 2 weeks left because I don't like this math.
yeah, a couple of weeks, and then who knows? They're gonna
Yeah.
say if you win the championship division, maybe somehow you'll
I
go.
also I also love how like the conference league was created so smaller teams could have European, and it's like
Yeah, like
Chelsea
West Ham, like West
and
Ham.
and Fiorentina and like teams that have been in the Champions League that are whatever.
They should have.
Anyways,
They should just make it a bottom 10 league or whatever. But then you wouldn't
I
get
don't think I don't
Fiorentina
I
from the
don't
English
think
from the Premier League. You could do that.
I know, but I don't think that you should have, if you're in one of the top 5 leagues in Europe, I don't think you should be able to qualify for the conference league. That's just
I'm
my
fine with
opinion.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
Give a chance for like Prague or somebody else to win it. One of the, maybe
Ryan, this
you're
is
good
good
with
advice. Do not bet on
never
soccer.
bet on soccer ever,
Never.
except if you're Ferris. Ferris could do it. Don't whatever you do, don't listen to me. I'm friggin' terrible at it, as we will discuss.
Yes,
As we will.
Ryan, next year I want you to join the starting 11 predictions league just to see how you do.
Yeah, you probably do
I
better.
want Justin to do it too, but Justin would probably stop making predictions.
I liked when he did it the one week because it was all just like, which name does he like better? He got a couple
Yeah.
right, but
He
he
did
did.
get a couple right, yeah.
He went for the Tractor Boys. That's never a good call.
Yeah.
Okay, where did I leave
Sorry,
off?
after all of that, let's move on.
Oh, we left off at the cottage at Craven Cottage, and well, they do strike first, and they look pretty good for a little while, maybe a half hour or so. Raul
Mhm.
Jimenez opening and scoring 17 minutes in. Mikolenko is gonna bring Everton level before the first half ends. It's an extra time, like almost right at the death. A weird play, a deflected ball goes in. Michael Keane and Beto are going to be the two guys scoring 4 minutes apart at the 70th and the 74th minutes to win it for the Toffees. Beto, 11 goals for Beto. So man, just imagine all the chances.
That seems like way more than I felt like he should have, but also way less than he actually should have.
He has chances all the time.
Yeah.
It's like if he's like Nicholas Jackson. You know what I mean? But he doesn't have any of the scrutiny somehow. He's gotten away with it. But
He plays for Everton. That's
yeah,
why.
that's it. Who really cares?
Yeah.
They think it's adorable. Their their logo is the local drunk tank. By the way, if
Mhm.
you ever see that little thing, that's a drunk tank. All right. But speaking of drunk tanks, David Moyes is going to be managing next week. May have nothing to do with it. May not have nothing to do with it.
I don't think
But
it has anything to do with it.
David Moyes will be managing Everton next week. Just so you know.
Here's the question. Is David Moyes going to manage Everton next year? How do
Someone
you not bring him back at this point?
Gotta give him money. Gotta pay this man some money. But where else would he? I think they're at an impasse. Maybe he wants more than they're willing to give. It's like, okay, you can go find it from somewhere else. And he's like, wait.
Well, then I
So,
hope
I
Everton
think.
enjoys fighting relegation again next year.
Well, you've seen the teams that, like, congratulations to Sunderland for making it to the finals of the championship promotion, but Sunderland may be coming
Yeah.
to the.
Yeah.
Yeesh. There's
I will
Sunderland till they
say
die, I
the
hear.
Stadium of Light is a really cool stadium, but there's nothing else about Sunderland that I like.
No. If not, it's going to be the same guys. Sheffield Wednesday or Sheffield United, whatever.
I
It's
haven't
all
even
the same.
paid attention as to who's coming up. So
Leeds is going to be coming. All
Leeds,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll know how much I enjoy Leeds, for God's sakes.
Mhm.
All right. Bournemouth hosted Villa. Villa looking to gain ground on a Champions League spot. They're over at Vitality Stadium, as they say over there. They get a 6-minute extra time goal here from Ollie Watkins. A slight little deflection, just enough to make it move a little bit. It was a really
Yeah.
nice pass from Morgan Rogers. I believe that's his 75th Premier League goal somehow for Watkins.
One more than Gabby Bonlahor now.
Yeah, he says the most in Aston Villa history because he's the guy who's stuck around the longest for some. He's the guy who had the stomach to stick around the longest.
Yep.
Congratulations to you, Ollie Watkins, living in Birmingham.
Yep.
Oh, Jacob Ramsey got a second yellow in the 80th. But Bournemouth had like 66% possession. They still couldn't find an equalizer. Yeah, Villa's now sixth. They're behind Chelsea on goal differential. Bournemouth, they're going to drop to 10th. They're not playing for anything else this year. That's it for Bournemouth. They're just there to have fun now. They're there to collect money. So good for them. Newcastle, Chelsea. Speaking of collecting money, I think there's a lot of guys on Chelsea that just collect goddamn money.
I think that is accurate.
There's what I can't. I'm not even going to go on a rant. Well, what else am I supposed to say? They start slow. They start super soft. Sandro Tonali makes them pay in less than 2 minutes, for goodness sakes.
Mm-hmm.
And Sanchez again with a long clear. What is Nicholas Jackson doing going up elbow first? So he gets Sven Botman. Sven Botman is like 6'7".
Yeah.
Probably the highest Nicholas Jackson's ever jumped in a blue shirt, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't hit him with the elbow. He goes like a little bit of the forearm. I think he hits him. I've seen people's grandmothers pet their cats harder than Botman got hit. The yellow card was like, yeah, the red card. I thought it was excessive, but he does hit him in the face. Like what
He does lead with his arm and hit him in the face. Like
it's laziness. It's just and he was trying to say he's just trying to do his all for this club. It's like, well, how is that your all? Like, where's that? Even with that play, where are you supposed to go? You're Nicholas Jackson. You're gonna run in from there. You're gonna beat Botman, make a fantastic pass. You're not gonna do it. This didn't make any sense. Just made no sense. But the good news is Chelsea do look like they play better with 10 men than they did 11, so they were at least competitive for the next little while. Cucurella had a good chance. Enzo had a good chance that was just knocked over the bar by Nick Pope, but it all comes crashing down late in the 90th. Guimaraes has a shot that goes off Malo Gusto's foot, who decided he was going to try and block it with his toe or something. He was nowhere near. Why even put your foot up? Just let your keeper take the ball.
Yeah.
He's way out.
Yeah.
Why change the angle on it? Anyways, good for Newcastle after a strange season. They're third. And they're gonna. I don't know if it's set in stone that they're getting Champions League yet. I can't remember, but it's gonna be tough for them to get moved out of it now. This could have been a devastating result.
I
for
don't think
Chelsea.
I don't think it's set in stone that anybody's getting Champions League yet.
Yeah,
except for Liverpool.
Yeah, they have the inside. They have the inside track. Let's say on a Champions League spot, especially considering who they're going to be playing against. But moving on, so I made myself feel bad by getting up at 6:00 in the morning on Sunday to watch that nonsense. Now, I got to enjoy Spurs taking on Ryan's new favorite club, it seems, Crystal Palace. A little London derby action here at the old North London landfill. And this is Eberezi. What happened to Eberezi? He was so cold.
I don't know what happened to him this year.
I think he heard he might be able to get out of Palace if he keeps it up. So he gets a brace 3 minutes apart. Mind you, it's on either side of halftime here. And the first basically into an open net because everybody follows the guy with the ball, passing it over to him. 3 guys go to him and the keeper, leaving Eze wide open. He couldn't miss. Second one, eerily similar, where everyone just goes to the ball handler and then leave him alone at the top of the box. Even they were using their backup keeper in Spurs, but still, everybody over on one side of the pitch is like, okay. Like even Eberezi isn't going to miss those. So 2-0. And if you think Spurs would have a chance to get back into this, well, they only put 1 shot on target the entire match. They were terrible from front to back. Maybe they're saving themselves for the Europa League final so that their manager's bold prediction can hold true.
Can I just say, if Ange Postecoglou, after this horrible season, is proven right because they win the Europa League, I'm gonna scream into my pillow for
You have to
hours.
remember this is Spurs and a trophy. So the chances
Yeah.
are like less than the Mavs getting the number one pick, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Well, Palace gets the double over Spurs. Congratulations to them. It's a fun club to be in. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Now, United take on West Ham. All right. This at remember when Old Trafford used to be, you know, a
Mm-hmm.
death sentence for teams coming down there.
Yep.
It's a fortress. Well, turns out these two teams this year, two of the worst teams not currently relegated in the league, they're
Yep.
all on display. And it's Thomas Sushek, a guy who's, a winger who's too good to keep playing
Mm-hmm.
at West Ham. He's going to end up going somewhere else. I don't know.
He
I don't know
I'm
how, but he's got to get out of there.
he does have to get out of there.
Yeah.
He's been very good for them this year, even though they've not been good.
No, he gets first done in the 26th. A nice little crafty, I'll say, back heel kick and stuff like that. I liked it quite a bit, considering it was a Hammer player that scored it. And they had another in the 57th. Kudus' pass, it goes through four guys. How can you let the ball go through four guys in the 6 yard box?
I don't
Anyways,
know.
it finds its way to Jared Bowen. He gets the second. Uh, United couldn't produce a goal despite having 20 shots, but not on target. Most of them going over. Bruno Fernandes. Like they need to stack the nets three high for him to even get close to putting one in lately. He's been
Mm-hmm.
terrible. Lots of rumors about him leaving. And with all the rumors about Cunha, they wanting Cunha in there. I don't know how Cunha and Fernandez play on the same pitch. So something would happen to him in there. Maybe that's why there's so many rumors. Anyways, yeah, the two worst teams not being relegated through week 36 of the English Premier League: Spurs and Manchester frigging United. And one of them will be playing in the Champions League because they're playing a Europa League final.
It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Bananas. This is bananas. All right, moving on.
I want Man United to win, which means they
Yeah,
probably won't.
how much? Yeah, this is like saying, watching Toronto win a playoff round. No one wants to see it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're just used to them being so bad. It's gross. Like all that time with Harry Kane never winning anything, to have them somehow fall ass backwards into a Europa League title. The year that he falls ass forward, I guess, into the Bundesliga. Oh my god.
I don't
Oh,
know.
ridiculous.
I
They're
don't
all
know. It is
ridiculous.
ridiculous. It's very ridiculous.
Speaking of ridiculous, how about this, madam? Now, remember when I said that Chelsea's result could have been, you know, devastating for the club?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the City Ground, Forrest give up a goal in the 16th minute to Connor Cody. He finally gets a goal for the Foxes. And
Yep.
Morgan Gibbs White is going to then equalize from an Anthony Langa free kick in the 25th. Lots of rumors about Morgan Gibbs White maybe going to City somehow. Oh my God. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, City I always feel does better when they go outside the Premier League to find their guys. So it'd be
They
interesting to see what
get
they do from.
they pay a lot of money for young English talent. That English talent doesn't live up to whatever expectation Pep has for them, and then they sit on the bench. Like,
Yeah.
look at what happened to Jack Grealish.
Yep.
Like,
Well, they gave up on a certain Cole Palmer
they give up.
for
Yeah,
what was it, 15 million or 20 million that we had to pay for him.
yeah,
And then Chelsea starts circling Nico Lewis, and they said, "Whoa, that's not happening. We've learned from our mistakes, guys." So they signed Nico Lewis to a contract. But
yeah.
yeah, I just a veteran guy coming over to City in England. I don't know. Like has Mateo
It.
Kovacic changed
Yeah,
City anyway?
yeah. It'd
Whatever.
be weird. It'd be weird to see him there.
Yeah. Second goal comes to Forrest. And it's another great cross by Gibbs White. Finds Chris Wood's head. A little bit of a diving little effort there. He
Mm-hmm.
has 20 goals this year for the boyhood Forest fan. That could That guy can play there forever, and he was like from
Cra-
New Zealand. How are you Forest fan forever?
I
Anyways,
don't know, but good on him. He's been fantastic.
but I don't know if they just thought the 3 points were in the bag and they were already counting their
This was
Champions
so
League
dumb.
money. But you could say, well, Leicester's going to tie it up. And what an amazing back pass by Jamie Vardy to find
Hmm.
Buonanotte. And a nice run in by Buonanotte and makes the one move, and then he's going to beat Matt Sells. No problem. Then Forest are going to drop two huge points that they had three in the bag. They end up with
Yeah,
one. It keeps almost a status quo near where the Champions League spots, but it brings everything into chaos and moving Villa into the picture. And
yeah,
it is going to be madness for the next 2 weeks. Looking at who they're playing, they get to go to London Stadium next week, so that's not so bad. Chelsea at home, their last home game of the year versus
yeah.
United. No Nicholas Jackson,
No Nicholas
as
Jackson.
you won't be around for the last couple of weeks, Adelia.
No,
Neither will
no, I
Nicholas
won't.
Jackson. We both got red cards. Both red carded.
I did not get red carded. Can we talk about Taiwo Awani for a moment?
Sure.
He got injured in that game
Mm-hmm.
on the week at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Reports coming out tonight that he's in an induced coma to aid his recovery from his
What?
surgery. Yeah. To help restrict his movement and regulate his heart rate, the second part of his surgery is scheduled to be completed on Wednesday, according to the BBC.
This is crazy.
So,
And people were wondering why the Forest owner was out on the pitch and looked like he was mad at Nuno.
yeah.
It
So,
wasn't about anything to do with the way they played and stuff like that. It had to do
no,
with the mess.
it had to do with the Wanye thing. So basically, he signaled to the bench that he was okay to continue, and so Nuno made his last substitution, and then he was not really able to play at all, and it was a miscommunication basically. And yeah, but shout
Yep.
out to him. Hope he gets better soon because
Coaches have to remember that they should know better than the player. The players are always going
yes.
to want to play. It doesn't matter. You have to do what's right for your club, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad this time you didn't. To be honest, but I'm sad that one is going to have to do a little bit of hopefully recovery in the next little while to get better and stuff like that. Better for next season, I'm sure. Because if you
Yeah, his season's got to be over. Yeah,
yeah,
his season's got to be over.
he's got a lot more football to play next year because
Mm-hmm.
Forest will be in Europe somewhere. It's just a
Yep.
matter of trying to see where they're gonna be. Okay. Yes. Oh, talking about the other clubs, what they're facing. Villa gets Spurs at home, then they go away to United. So a bit of a favorable schedule for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea with United, and then of course it's going to be a huge matchup at the City Ground. Last match of the year. Okay, speaking of last matches, we got the last match of the weekend, and I don't think you were too happy for a while in this one. I
I
think
was
you were a
not too
little upset.
happy for a little
You
while
were a
in this
little
one, but it
upset,
was also what I expected. We
right?
lost the Champions League semifinal.
Yep.
We go out of that competition. I said if they lose that game, they're probably going to have a hangover from the emotions and everything and lose this one to Liverpool. Now we didn't lose this one to Liverpool, but we also let in two really bad goals.
They were bad. The one, okay, so this thing should have been a headlining match. Arsenal, Liverpool. It's at Anfield. It turns out to be a lot more entertaining than I thought it was going to be, especially Gakpo putting them ahead, and then Luis Diaz a minute later. But
Yeah.
I still thought that pass was offside, and then I had to look further down the field. And, oh, that one was still close. That one was still close. But I don't think Raya looked good on that second one at
No,
all.
he didn't.
We've been talking about him for a couple of weeks now. And he's got weird happy feet and stuff like that. Like he's almost trying to do
Yeah.
too much, not relaxing between the posts and stuff like that. I didn't have to, go that hard. I thought that Louisa's shot was actually manageable, but they take the lead into the second half. I know that you weren't very happy. I'm sure Ferris wasn't too impressed. But I think you were happier come the start of the second half, like
Yeah.
90 seconds
I
into it.
I definitely was happier after the second half. I didn't get to watch much of the second half. It was Mother's Day here on Sunday.
Yep.
My mother was suffering from a very strange and severe eye infection that was coming on very suddenly. That we had to
Jeez.
convince her to go to the ER that night, and she's still in the hospital.
Oh my
So
god.
I was not focused entirely on the game for the
And
second half of
I.
this.
Gee.
Yeah, I'll tell you more about it afterwards. But yeah, like, but her eyes were swelling shut. Like, you go to the
Ridiculous.
hospital when that happens. It's
Yeah.
She was not
And it was
going to
an
do that.
infection, not like an allergic reaction or something.
No,
Was
it was not an allergic reaction. It's something called orbital cellulitis. It's very serious.
she
So
whiz.
she has to be on IV antibiotics for like all week.
Sounds like sci-fi.
So basically, this is a little PSA. If that happens to you, go to the ER.
Brought to you from your friends. That's starting 11, everybody. Okay. Uh,
But yes, the second half was better. Although I got really angry when Mikel Merino got himself sent off.
I'm gonna say, okay, so he is the guy who ends up getting the tying goal. Martin Odegaard shot. He gets knocked off the post by Allison Becker, and Marino's there to clean up the mess. 2-all. That's great. It's like 9 minutes later. That's a pretty soft yellow card.
It's a very soft yellow card.
It's a pretty soft yellow card, considering he was going for the ball and Darwin Nunez stepped on his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the yellow card for it. Just outside the box, too, for a free kick. Yeah, that wasn't great. But it turns out no harm, no foul. He'll miss next week. Which who do you guys have next week?
Newcastle,
Oh,
and
that's a
then we
tough one.
follow it up with Southampton. So I
Okay,
think
so
that
you got a point.
because of the Southampton thing, we're probably, if we get nothing worse than a draw with Newcastle, we're
Yeah,
fine for Champions League.
yeah.
But
If you don't city it, you're gonna be okay.
yeah,
Yeah. If no one's catching you guys on goal differential, it's huge.
no,
So yeah.
no.
How about Andy Robertson scoring that goal or whatever? But Conte pushing Miles Lewis Skelly down by the face and
Yeah,
then complaining and then complaining.
complaining. You don't get to shove someone to the ground like that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
especially in the box. Arne Slot was in Ibiza. He went to Ibiza
Uh,
to celebrate. Some of the Liverpool players are going to Dubai. They don't play again until Monday. So
yeah. All right. Good.
good for
Bye.
them.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
We should say Trent not coming back to Liverpool.
Oh yeah. We did. I didn't
Going,
even think about it. He got himself booed off the
he
pitch.
was very much booed for someone who has a mural in Liverpool.
A
Got
childhood player. He
childhood
grew
player.
up with the club.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Mason Mount. You can say that. Yeah,
Slightly different.
no one's painting a mural to him.
Yeah,
I tell
but
you.
he is expected to go to Real Madrid, maybe in time for the Club World Cup.
It should be in time for the Club World Cup, and I think you're seeing a lot of moves being made very early in the window as compared to a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
where people are needing to get their ducks in a row so they can get camps together. There's just no time. There's going to be no time to
Yeah,
get anything together. And like the training camps that are going to go on during this thing is going to be all the other players and places. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be an absolute mess. It's a ridiculous thing to have.
it is. It is.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's going to be obnoxious as hell.
Yep.
I just found a quote from Ange Postacoglu this week where he
Okay.
said that people are waiting for the white smoke to find out if he's still going to have a job next year. And
Oh
I'm
boy.
just like, dude, why? Let's not go there.
The Pope. The
The Pope.
the Pope of 3-point line. Okay. Now, speaking of, that didn't make any sense either. So we do the sleep wrap every single. Now, last week, I said about a few of my picks. I wasn't so sure.
Mm-hmm.
And good news, guys. I was correct because I was absolutely terrible. Now, Somehow Ferris gets 7 correct.
I want to know what his secret is. Is it black magic? Like, what is he doing here?
It's 100% is witchcraft for sure. How many did you
Um,
get? 4? Was
I
that right?
got I got 3
3.
correct.
I got 2.
Ferris
Got
got
2.
7.
Yeah, this is bananas.
Ferris Muthana ahead of both of us because you and I are tied
Mm.
by 20 points. So I think he wins
Yeah,
because he would
well,
have to lose all of his matches for both the next 2 weeks, and you and I would have to win all of the matches in our
yeah,
predictions.
yeah. Well, I say we dope test him. How about that?
I'm gonna ask him how he does this.
He'll just get
I
someone
don't
else.
know. Yeah.
Someone else is going to pee for him. Anyways, last, well, 2 weeks ago, last second, it's the penultimate. Well, there we get to go. The
It is.
penultimate weekend.
Shout out to
Premier League.
Mark Ellis for
Sure.
teaching a generation of people what that word meant.
Oh boy. Now, first off, we are going to start in Birmingham. Villa and Spurs, as we mentioned before. Gosh, this is hard. You know what? I know what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I know really what I like to see, but in my heart, I don't want it to happen. But I have to
Yeah.
take Villa.
I'm taking Villa too.
Well, at least the next match is Chelsea United, and I think finally we're gonna. We've had some weird matchups against United lately. Even with United's decline, we're still not getting good
Yeah.
results against United. This time, at the bridge, without Nicholas Jackson, whoever's going to be Mark Gu or Tyreek George or somebody like that leading the line, we're
Yeah.
going to beat United this weekend.
United might be without Lenny Yoro too,
Good, grand,
because he got injured in that game. Um, I'm taking Chelsea as well.
smart, smart. Now, is this the last? Is this the last match at Goodison Park? Old Goodison. It is the last
It
match at
is.
Old Goodison Park. And what a way to go out. They gave them a treat. 3 points. They're taking on Southampton.
Yeah, Everton should win this.
There's no you'd think like even if they're taking on they played well against Liverpool the last time. If they're taking on City, whoever it was, I think they're gonna get 3 points out of it. They're just gonna be too amped. Or maybe they make mistakes. It's gonna be weird. But Everton should win. Now, London Stadium, I need West Ham to do something, but they're not going to against Forest.
No, Forest should win that.
Yep. Here's one that could split up the what we're thinking could happen. We got Brentford, we got Fulham.
Brentford.
G Tech Community Stadium.
It
By
is.
the way,
I'm going Brentford.
I'm going to go for a draw in this one.
Okay.
We get the championship preview. We got Leicester City versus Ipswich at King Power Stadium.
This will I said would be a draw, and I'm never watching that game or
No,
highlights of it.
nope. We'll talk about it briefly next week with the magician Ferris Muthana.
Mm-hmm.
What will be fun? You know what? I'm going to take Leicester, and I'm going to say that Vardy gets his goal.
Okay.
I think it's only right.
I think Vardy could get his goal in that game for sure, but I
It's
just
just
don't think that they can stop goals.
no.
So
Yeah. If he scores, I will guarantee that is the last game he'll play in a Fox's shirt. There's no way he plays the next week.
probably.
Away. There's no way he plays away for his last game.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't score. Well, he wants to get that goal. If he doesn't score, he'll play.
If he doesn't score, he'll play for sure.
Big match of the week. Arsenal Newcastle. You were mentioning it before.
This is an interesting one to me. Newcastle's technically won more games this year than Arsenal have.
Yep.
But Arsenal's drawn more games than Newcastle has. So
Yep.
I'm still going Arsenal, but I could see that being a draw.
You could also say you technically lost less matches.
We did. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Arsenal as well. I think they can get it together.
Too many draws this year, man. Okay.
Too many.
Yeah. Liverpool's beating Brighton.
Yeah. Do they have a hangover week again?
I don't think so. I just don't.
That hangover week against Chelsea, they didn't look super sharp. Depends on who they play, but I think Brighton.
I just can't see Brighton hurting them. So they'll get a couple of chances. Salah, Diaz, somebody will put in some goals, and that'll be that.
If Salah plays, I think they keep him off until the final weekend. But yeah, they still have enough, more than enough to beat
Oh yeah, yeah.
Brighton. Uh, Crystal
Diogo
Palace.
Jota will score or something. Like
That's
someone
it.
will score.
Like, oh, they have nobody off the bench in Liverpool. Watch it be now. Uh, Crystal Palace, which I hear sounds like a lovely place to live. By the way, if you know, if you like where a ruin once stood. Now, there's
Ryan saying that reminds me of Tom Hanks saying why he became an Aston Villa fan, because it sounded like it was a quaint seaside
oh
town in
yeah,
England,
Birmingham.
and it's Birmingham.
Yeah,
Um, Palace and Wolves. I'm gonna take Palace.
Palace gonna play. They're gonna choose time to
It's the
rest
FA
because
Cup. The FA Cup finals
a
this
couple
weekend,
weeks.
isn't it? No, I
I
think
thought it
it's
was
this weekend.
oh, so they
I think
yeah,
that's
so
why they're playing on Tuesday.
they're gonna have come in having played their starters in the FA Cup. I'm gonna go Wolves on this one.
Yeah, but if Palace somehow pulls it off against
Yeah.
City, I could see them being so amped to put that trophy in front of their fans that they win. So, and
Well,
I
yep,
I
that's
actually
true.
think Palace has a chance of beating City in the FA Cup final.
Sure. Oh yeah. I think City still has too much on the line to be
Yeah,
wasting guys in the FA Cup final. They've
yeah.
won a bunch. It's more important to Palace for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of City, they get Bournemouth at home. Bournemouth, we never know what you're going to get. You don't know if they're going to score 3 or not score at all.
I'm going City. Whether they win or lose the FA Cup final, I think they'll beat Bournemouth.
I'm going to go with a draw in that one.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't see them winning for some reason on Tuesday after having just played. Considering how much Pep Guardiola likes to cry about how many matches they play and stuff like that, I don't think they're going to play too many people.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's it for you, Adelia, in starting 11.
Ryan saying, "Well then, Palace it is, my new team."
There you go. You're an Eagles fan, by the way, Ryan. Now, yeah, you're on assignment for the channel the next couple of weeks. If you got anything else you'd like to tell people here before you sign off for the 24-25 season?
Thank you everyone who's tuned in this year. Appreciate the interaction in the chat from Ryan, from Brennan, from BX Gunner when they've joined. Just anybody who watches the show really or listens to this on the audio feed. Do have an announcement about the audio feed. We're separating out the audio feed so that there's separate feeds for each show. So the starting 11 one is not quite up yet. I'm still in the process of working on putting all the back catalog on the feed, but it will be up before I leave on my trip on Thursday morning. It'll probably be up later tonight, actually. So you can go to links.letsgetreadynetwork.com to get links to all the audio feeds if you're interested in being on the audio feeds. But yeah, I'm gonna miss doing the last 2 weeks of the season with you on this show, but I'm sure Ferris will fill in admirably, and we'll be
It'll just take
back.
3 times as long. It'll just take three
Yeah,
times as
it
long.
will take 3 times as long for sure. Um, maybe we'll do a wrap up show for the Club World Cup this summer or something. Talk about some transfer news, um, and then we'll be back at it again
It
for the
doesn't take
season.
long. It
Does
doesn't
not
take
take
long.
long. It's not going to take long
Start
at
left
all.
hand
I think the Gold Cups this summer too. I don't know if Ferris would be interested in doing some shows with me about that. So, um,
so much.
I love doing this show with you, Snark. And I'm actually sad that I'm going to miss the last 2 episodes of the season because it's
Well,
been an interesting season. But I
just
would be
do all
more
the math
sad.
you don't have to do. You
I,
don't have
I
to
don't have
worry
to
about
do any
that.
more math. That
Yeah.
article broke my brain earlier.
Mhm.
But at least Arsenal's not in the hunt for something that would mean a lot to
That's
me, and I
true.
wouldn't be missing it. So
That's true. They picked a good time to fall apart
they
here at the
did.
end,
They
and
did.
yeah,
And I
not
don't think
looking.
they've completely fallen apart. I think injuries have had a lot to do with that. I'm real curious about how we're going to fare against Newcastle with Mikel Merino suspended for the game. So, yeah,
I will say that was Martin Odegaard's best game since he came back.
it was his best game in a while.
One that most looked like Martin Odegaard. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens against Castleby. The well, not for me the most interesting match, but
No. It'll be an
for
interesting match
for
this weekend
everybody
though.
else, it should be the most interesting match of the week. Thank you again, Adelia. We'll try and we'll soldier on here without you the last couple weeks. Now,
Yeah.
also elsewhere, we've got on the sports channel, we got Playoff Beers, the hockey podcast. Still trying to find time that I can actually do a live watch along. But if I'm expecting Jets, it might not be happening because they have been very poor on the road, and the NHL has decided on renegotiating how it defines its rule books and stuff like that against the Jets even this year. So it looks like it doesn't not the cards maybe stacked against the Jets here. We'll see what happens. I know they're down right now in game 4. Now we'll try and get a time that we can get together for a proper playoff beers as well. At some point, we're gonna have to talk about round 2 and talk about we think will happen in round 3. Coming up with Crystal Palace's own Ryan Christensen coming up soon on the Sports Network. Now, entertainment channel wise, we got the two Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel Rewatchers Councils coming up this week. We'll be doing it with good old Ferris Mathanov, councilman, original council member Ferris Mathanov will be there. We're talking about maybe the worst episode of Buffy
I'm
of all
so
time.
glad I get to just skip right over that episode when I come back and catch
Beer.
up.
We're talking about beer bad. I might try to just break this thing down into its most simple forms, just so I can get through it. And then, of course, the Angel episode is much better. The beer
Mm-hmm.
bad Room with a View. It's a fun episode. A lot of Cordy in that episode, so you always know it's going to be a good episode. And then
Yeah.
Saturday, I'll be with Danny. We're going to talk about the finale of Andor
I
season.
hear you have a special surprise secret guest on that show.
We're not allowed to tell
Nope.
because it's top secret, and someone could go to prison if it ever gets let out. So join us on Saturday afternoon for LGRN after Snark for
Yep.
that.
Also on Saturday is the MCU Rewatchers Council episode for Iron Man 2. So
Oh,
that should
Whiplash.
be good. Yeah,
Whiplash, guys. He has a parrot, if I remember right. I haven't
he
watched that in
does.
a long time. Okay, that's it for us. You want to
All
take it
right.
out? You want to take it out for the final time this year?
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Check out the links in the description below if you're interested in helping support the channel at all. Join our Discord where you can see things like the Soccer Talk channel where we talk about all things soccer and like I just posted a link in there about Lucas Paqueta's wife saying that their family's been living a nightmare over this match fixing investigation, and I'm just like, can they just ban this guy already, please, so we don't have to deal with this shit?
Take
Um,
Tonali.
so check that out, and links in the are in the description. If you're watching on Twitch, use !Discord to get a link to the Discord. And like I said, links.letsgetreadynetwork.com for all the audio feeds. I will see you next season. Snark will see you next week. Bye guys.